Chapter 2 has 3 parts. This is part 1 of 3. The objective of this presentation is to introduce students to the basic principles of the scientific methods which are used by sociologists to provide valid and reliable explanations toward a particular human behavior or attitude. Topics that will be addressed in this presentation today will include defining the scientific method, exploring major research designs, and finally, addressing the variables that surround the ethics of research. What is the scientific method? Scientific method is a systematic, organized series of steps that ensures maximum objectivity and consistency in researching a problem. Why are research and the scientific method important to us? We can answer by examining the significant research involved in the workings of a society. If we look closely, we discover that research findings have the potential to provide accurate and reliable information that we rely on when making decisions that range from everyday to life-changing situations. By becoming familiar with the standards to which scientific research adheres, we can recognize which information is deemed efficient and effective, and therefore have the power to make decisions that will serve our best interests. The scientific method consists of specific steps when preparing research. This precision is needed for gathering and testing the information or data gathered from the research. Precision is key in providing valid and reliable information used for supporting or diffusing variables that surround the behaviors being studied. There are 5 basic steps in the scientific method, which include defining the problem, retrieving literature, formulating a hypothesis, selecting the research design, and then collecting and analyzing data, and finally developing the conclusion. Making an observation allows a sociologist a chance to define a problem, which is the first step in any research project. Defining a problem consists of identifying and then stating as clearly as possible the problem that is to be studied. The problem we will be defining in our research is the example supplied from the textbook, Does It Pay to Go to College? We will be studying whether or not the many challenges that are faced in obtaining a college education, such as money, time, stress, are considered to be useful when looking at the earning potentials after college graduation. In order for this problem to be studied scientifically, researchers must first develop an operational definition of each concept studied. An operational definition is a description of something, such as a variable, term, or object, with the description consisting of the specific process used to determine its presence and capacity. A simple example of an operational definition could be displayed by defining a cake in terms of how it's prepared and baked. For example, the recipe is an operational definition. This same type of thought process can be recognized with the saying, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. The saying exhibits a basic sort of measurement process or set of tests in order to identify the object or subject accurately. Okay, back to our initial defined problem. Does it pay to go to college? As we look at this problem, we recognize two variables or topics that need operational definitions. Does it pay? We can conclude pertains to money or earnings, and going to college would indicate a higher level of education. With this being decided, the variables identified for operational definitions will be education and earnings. Education will be defined as the number of years a person has to attend college. Earnings will be defined as the yearly income a person reportedly receives. This is the end of part 1. There are 3 parts to this presentation. Be sure to continue on to part 2.